What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for another day with Jay. It is lovely to see you guys again. As the title suggests, this video is going to be centered around my top tips for dealing with anxiety in the world we live in today. If you're new to the channel, it's lovely to have you here. My name's Jay. Just a bit of backstory, I had a bit of a tough time, probably about 4 to 6 months. It caused me to pretty much turn my life upside down. But now at the point where I've come out the other side, I just feel it's really important to maybe share anything I've learned along the way. Hopefully by this point you can see that this channel is purely about spreading positivity, making people happy, just generally good vibes. I've tried to make it my top 10 tips, but unfortunately I couldn't think of 10. So instead, I've managed to think of 7, and we're gonna go through them one at a time, and hopefully I give you a little bit of backstory to why this has made it into my list. So yeah guys, I'm gonna try not to ramble on too much in this video. I seem to have a habit of that. If you do not mind listening to me chat shit, that is much appreciated. But in this video, let's get straight to it. Here is number 1. So we all know how important setting goals are, right? Something I didn't learn until my last employment actually. It was a great tip that those guys helped me out with. Basically, it is to set goals in between getting to your main goal. The reason why this is so important, I feel, is because when you set your initial goal, it's normally something quite large, right? We like to not put caps on what we could potentially achieve, and more power to you, I rate that fully. But because it's such a big goal, sometimes it can seem really daunting, and when you don't make the progression that you hope to, in whatever time span you gave yourself, it can be really disheartening, and actually kind of cause a lot of people, me myself, I am guilty to this, to actually give up on that goal. And yeah, everything kind of just spirals down and down from there. So honestly guys, set smaller goals that you can achieve in smaller timescales that all still lead on to your main goal at the end. I absolutely promise you, you will feel 10 times better when you get to the end of each day or the end of each week or however long you set your goals for, and you realize that you are smashing each target week on week on week. That's probably one of the most important ones in the list so far. But hopefully that one helps you out. Let's move on to my second tip. 2. Whatever the issue seems to be, whatever is the catalyst for causing that initial anxiety thought. Man said anxiety thought. Whatever caused that initial thought of anxiety, you need to give yourself time to resolve it. We're gonna move on to time because time actually makes it to the list in its own point. But on this note, whatever the issue is that is causing you this anxiety or these feelings, these anxious thoughts, you can't expect to sort out every issue immediately. Some things take a bit of time. Sit down in a calm environment and methodically think about how you're going to tackle that issue. Trying to get rid of things instantly and on the spot and thinking everything's gonna be a quick fix, in my experience, is not gonna resolve the problem, and actually in the long run is probably gonna end up causing you to be more anxious. Hopefully that tip helps you out as well, guys. But moving on, here is tip 3. This is something that needs no introduction. You guys, if you have been watching my videos before, you would have heard me speak about this time and time again. And I will not stop because this seems to be a recurring theme in a lot of people's lives. This is the one that I hear the most out of everything. And this is the one that took me the longest to overcome. Stop comparing yourself to other people. For real guys, it's got to stop. I am not saying by any means that this is an easy feat. I know it's fucking difficult. Especially with the amount of time that we spend on social media these days, we literally put ourselves out in the firing line for this sort of thing to happen. Wake up in the morning, you go on your phone, you go on social media, and what do you see? You see other people doing certain things that maybe you find interesting or that you'd want to pursue. All this does is, again, become another catalyst in your mind for becoming anxious. Do me a favor guys, if you can, and I know step by step, small goals to get to the main goal, just take one step at a time and just work at it bit by bit, day by day, and I guarantee you, if that is your strategy and you stick to it, you will end up accomplishing your goals. And seriously, I like to be as transparent as I can, especially when I'm trying to give advice. If you can't take your own advice, then you really need to shut up. Honestly, honestly, that is something I have done until very recently. But at this point, even now, do you know what, saying that, it's not fully gone. Every now and again, you get this like pop-up thought, which kind of takes you back, and you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. I wish I was doing that. But instead of thinking, I wish I was doing that, get up and go do it, bro. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. The only thing that's stopping you from doing it is yourself or the circumstances that you currently find yourself in. Both of which are things you can change. That's enough on that point, but here is step 4. Oh, this one. This is the most important of all, and if you take any of my advice in any of my videos, this is the one that I would love to pass on the most. And it's actually the most simplest. Just love yourself. Learn to appreciate who you are, what you have to offer the world, what you have to offer people, and really get to know yourself as an individual. That's something I personally didn't do until late last year. I wasn't happy with who I was and kind of the direction I was going in and so on and so forth. So basically I decided to make a change. Now that change in no way was easy, but now at this point, I understand what I like doing. Oh my God. That actually gave me almost like an instant headache. Loving yourself means so much more than just those 2 words. Identify the bits of your personality that make you feel good about yourself, that make you feel good about other people. And also, just as important, if not more important, identifying the bits in your personality that you might not like, or certain things that you see yourself doing that you're really not too much of a fan of. All of these go straight back round to the first point that we spoke about. Set small goals to get to your end one. Changing habits is one of the hardest things to do. Some of you will know why I'm laughing about that. Because habits are one of the hardest things to change, that's another reason why it's really important to just give yourself some time. Moving on to step 5. Why do I keep saying step? It's not a step, bro, it's a tip. A lot of you might actually laugh when I say this, right? But this is, for me, one of the hardest that I had to learn. And it took a lot of practicing, and there are a few things out there that can help with this. Breathing. It's something we do automatically in life, right? It's not something we control automatically in life though. Sometimes you find yourself getting so overwhelmed and your brain just goes into a state of panic. You become like frozen and you just can't function anymore. For all my dons out there who have experienced this as well, I'm gonna be real honest. When I get anxious, I start to sweat like a bitch. It is peak, bro. And there's no stopping it either. Like, the worst thing is, once I start realizing that I'm that anxious and that I'm sweating, and what if I'm wearing a light colored t-shirt, bro? As soon as that thought goes through my head, it's like a fucking waterfall. Do not worry, I am there with you. I still get anxious, still get hot and bothered. We are all human. Let me tell you this little top tip that I learned, and you might laugh because it is a little bit weird, right? When I used to work at this technology company, not dropping any names, but here's the fruit. I used to say I was going to the toilet, right? And I would literally stand there in the dark, close my eye, and man would just woo-saw, bro. Man would just all them sort of things there, bro. Pitch black, people be knocking on the door and everything. Pretend you're having a doo-doo. I don't know, like that might help you out. Focus on your breathing. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Like, I guarantee you, just trust me on this, right? You do that during a time where your anxiety is at its peak, you will feel 10 times better after it. I'm not saying it's gonna cure whatever you were feeling before, but it will help you gather your thoughts, collect yourself, and just you know them ones there? Don't actually need to rub your earlobes, that is not compulsory, but you do you. You do you, brother.
You rub your earlobes.
So I got my sister in the wings, by the way. She's helping me out with some stuff. You can pat your head and rub your stomach for all I care. But try this tip, I guarantee it will help. But that's enough of this one. Moving on to tip number 6. This one I am a absolutely massive culprit for. In fact, all of these I'm a massive culprit for, because that's the only way I can speak kind of from experience. I didn't want to touch on any tips that obviously I hadn't gone through or dealt with myself in the past. Dealing, motherfucker. Stop giving
Motherfucker.
gonna come say hey? Just put your head around.
No.
Just so you know, I'm not chatting to myself, guys, in between these takes. This is my sister Mia, hard type peanut. Stop giving yourself so many time restraints to complete everything in your life. Honestly, I don't think people in caveman days ever had this problem because they didn't even have a concept such as time. You have to wake up in the morning at a certain time, you gotta get the bus by a certain time, you gotta clock into work by a certain time, and you have to finish all of your tasks by a certain time. There is a time restraint for absolutely everything in our lives, and it is a joke. When you really sit down to think about it, what the fuck? Who made these rules, bro? And why do we all have to follow them? I know it is a lot easier said than done with this one because everyone needs to make a living, right? Difficult to just be like, hey, I ain't doing shit today. Fuck this, I'm going to the yard. Can't do things like that, yeah? You actually, I can't.
I'm getting you high today.
I know you don't smoke weed. I know this. But I'm gonna get you high today.
I saved this one for the last point because honestly, I think theoretically this would probably be the hardest one to put together. As you saw in the title, a weekend away or just a general holiday. Kind of leading on to our last point now, we're controlled by our 9 to 5 routine. I completely appreciate it. It is a lot easier said than done. I didn't go on holiday for like 7 years and then I kind of got forced into a holiday. Not forced, but you know when you're obligated to go. My mum got engaged and she got married in Jamaica of all places. Just on a side note, it was incredible. Wow. We went to Jamaica, Montego Bay. I can't actually remember the name of the resort we stayed at, but it was incredible. Highly recommend that holiday. Again, I appreciate it's not that easy to do. So usually when we go, we spend time at my nan's house. It's literally joke, right? Just for pause, guys. I've got my sister like giving me little hints of what to say and helping me out in this video. So large up you, Mia. Thank you very much for the help. And it is a great experience. Honestly, when I went, it was October we went, I think last year. And we stayed for about 2 weeks and the experience, it might sound cheesy, but it was life-changing. I did things like I got up every day, went running through the mountains. Running through the mountains, bro. What, in Bristol? Yeah. It's so important to do and just experience and realize that this concrete jungle that we currently live in does not cover the entire world. There is more to life than this. So with that being said, this leads quite nicely on to the new channel that is starting next month. The first location is booked, guys. Man's gonna put on his Dora the Explorer hat and go adventuring in the woods and that. But I'm not gonna tell you too much because I am like saliva is coming to my mouth, bro. We're going abroad. It's gonna be in the UK. It's gonna be over Europe. It's gonna be some cool videos, but I do want to separate it from the people that enjoy me chatting shit to the people who just want an informative video on travel locations. I hope those tips kind of do sound like something that could help you out within your life, or maybe just one tip you can relate to. Those are my top tips, guys. I'm sorry I couldn't think of 10, but those are my top 7. I hope they didn't come across as patronizing in any way. Those are honestly just the most important tips that I have found that have helped me in life so far. Hopefully spread a bit of a message and just let some people out there know that if you are going through some of these tips that sound absolutely ridiculous, that you are not alone and probably most of the world is there with you. So with that being said, guys, as usual, it has been an absolute pleasure to be here again. It's nice to see you. If you are new to the channel, my name is Jay and you are now tuned in to what is supposedly meant to be vlogging for 365 days a year. Until the next time, guys, have a good day. I hope you're smiling. I will catch you in the next vlog, which will be tomorrow, because you know it's every day, bruv. Peace.